Welcome to this edition of Talking Hope. It's great to have you with us. Now, some of you might recognise tonight's guest if you were on our recent Talking Toddlers call, where we were thinking about the missional opportunity that is Easter. So I am delighted we're going to have a great time because we have got Ed Drew from Faith in Kids with us this evening.
Great to be here. Thank you very much, Sammy, for letting me join you.
Ed, I know you. We chat regularly. A lot of people won't. Do you want to just give us a quick kind of summary of, what's Faith in Kids?
Great. Faith in Kids, there we go. It exists to support churches and parents in raising children to know Christ. So we are particularly trying to bring together the work of parents, loving their children, wanting good for their children, and churches together. So together they are working to raise children. So to be a Christian, we believe that family belongs in a great local church. And I think both groups, parents are struggling to work out what does it look like to be intentionally Christian in the mess, the chaos, the carnage of everyday life. And churches, what does it look like to have children amongst us as part of our church family, but not, making them the only thing we do or excluding them and pushing them out the side.
Yeah. And your support is linked to a really fab website, isn't it? So if I was a church leader or member or parent and I'd not come across Faith in Kids before, you'd be telling me to go to your website, and lots of resources can be found on that website to support churches and parents to nurture faith in their kids, yeah?
We normally start by sending people to our website, faithinkids.org, or our podcast. If you type in Faith in Kids, all one word, and then podcast, you'll find two types of podcast, which is just really a conversation. We do one for families. So from 4 years up, you're in a car on a journey to a holiday, you press play on us, and we'll give you 20 minutes of me and my co-host Jam opening the Bible, talking it through, asking questions, silly facts, and then getting families talking in their car. And then also conversations with experts on the normal things of life, gaming, sport, music, school, and some of those tricky conversations, talking about our bodies, talking about sexuality, marriage. We try to tackle those normal everyday conversations on our podcasts.
Thank you, Ed. That's brilliant. I think it paints a really good picture of what Faith in Kids is, if people who are watching this haven't heard about it before. Now, talking of experts, you were one of the experts on our Talking Toddlers webinar earlier, because we were looking at the challenges and opportunities around Easter. We were saying that we recognise that work with toddler groups is a massive missional opportunity for the church because so many parents and carers of under fives are connected with the church through activities for their children. That's what the Talking Toddlers research tells us. And we were saying, therefore, Easter is an opportunity to be intentional about sharing Jesus with our families, but it's often a harder one to make the most of than Christmas because it's not about a cute baby. Actually the concepts, the emotions of Easter are much harder. So we were looking in the webinar at how children develop and grow, and then some resources that might support parents and toddler group leaders, church leaders to share what is quite a challenging Easter story with their youngest families. And you were there as one of our experts sharing some of your top tips. So do you want to share a few more with us now? What would you say to parents, carers, leaders of under fives about how to share the Easter story and make the most of this opportunity?
The first thing I want to say is Easter is in our culture. Everyone is clear Easter is happening. Easter eggs, Easter bunnies, hot cross buns, I imagine they are in almost every home in the land for months before Easter. So the first thing to say is there's already a space marked out in our national voice, in our national space, where it's being talked about. So we can step into it and we can fill it. We can say this is what Easter is about. I think to be a parent of a preschooler is to have a deep desire to raise our children understanding some of those cultural touchstones. So we showed a brief video of my friend Alex, who came to faith from going to a toddler group attached to a church. And she points to the moment when she discovered her child's nursery was only going to be doing chocolate eggs and Easter bunnies for Easter. And even as someone who wasn't a Christian, that annoyed her. She wanted her child to know something of the Christian story and wanted help with that. I think people like Alex, those views, they're very common, I think, in parents of preschoolers. They're at the beginning of a journey. They want to put in place some routines and they want to make sure their children know about traditions of their country. So I think the first thing is for churches and Christians to offer, to be available, to look for ways to serve. And Sammy, you pick up on the awkwardness that a saviour died a bloody death on a cross as an instrument of torture. So personally, I focus on the resurrection when I'm talking to children, particularly with under fives. I normally get out an Easter egg. As soon as you do, you have the attention of every child in the room. I show them that Easter egg, and I just say, you know, the shock of Easter is that the egg is empty. There's nothing in the egg. That is the story of the empty tomb. Jesus was laid in there after he had died, and he rose again. And this is why we're still giving people eggs. It's the gift of new life. So that is, I want to pick up on the symbolism of the chocolate Easter egg. And I don't think people are clear why it's an egg. Why is it not a star? Why is it not a pancake? We're helping people to see an egg is a symbol of new life. And that is a message of hope. So to be a Christian at Easter, we just need to remind ourselves, people need to know that Easter represents hope. It is the greatest hope our friends could ever be offered. It is the hope of new life. And we are coming through a season of epidemic and war, and death is on our doorsteps. And we are the only people as Christians who know how to talk to children about death and life, because we have a message of hope to give them. So I think most children in schools are never talking about serious illness or death. And I'm not saying it's the only thing we talk about. I'm merely saying Easter is a chance to say, we have a story to tell you, and it's going to help you in your parenting. It's going to give you hope.
And it creates that space as well, where if you need an opportunity to talk about things like death, you know, it's that way in. What I love about your Easter egg approach, Ed, is it builds a bridge. So it starts with something that is really part of our contemporary culture. Like you say, you go into the supermarket in January and the Easter eggs are there. And it then builds a bridge to faith because it explains what the egg has got to do, not just with the Christian faith, but also back to all those chicks and bunnies that are also in the supermarket aisles from very early on. You know, a lot of children, I've been a teacher in a school, so a lot of children can tell you that Easter is about new life. But when you say, why is it about new life? What they talk about are those chicks and bunnies and spring lambs. And so what you've done is you've added that layer of the empty tomb. And in doing that, the hope that we have as Christians this Easter. So as well as talking about Easter today, we also looked a little bit beyond. Easter's in the middle of April. And at the beginning of June, we have the Platinum Jubilee. Maybe you in your community, maybe you're thinking of holding a street party. We also want to equip and resource you for the Platinum Jubilee. So at Hope, we've produced the children's book, The Girl Who Grew Up to Be Queen. It's the story for children, for our under fives, of the Queen's life and faith. And it goes alongside, I haven't got a book to hold up here, but maybe we'll get an image on the screen. Our Faithful Queen, which is our book for the adults, for the grown-ups. We don't want to leave them out either. So thank you for joining us on Talking Toddlers today. I hope it's been useful. You can check out our resources on the Hope Together website, which should be on the screen now. And you can check out Ed's Easter ideas as part of the Faith in Kids website, which will also be appearing on the screen now. So hope that has been useful. Please have a really, really good Easter. And I encourage you to make the most of the missional opportunity that this time of year involves. Take care. God bless. Goodbye.